Former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte has said he will accept any possible arrest following reports that the International Criminal Court may issue a warrant over his war on drugs campaign that killed thousands. The Philippine Presidential Office says there has been no official communication from Interpol, but indicated that Mr. Duterte could be handed over if the warrant is issued. Mr. Duterte is currently in Hong Kong, and he said he was not at fault for the drug war and justified it as a campaign for peace and national security. He made those remarks while addressing a campaign rally attended by thousands of Filipino workers yesterday. He was in the city to drum up support for his senatorial candidates ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Now, Mr. Duterte is presently staying at a hotel in Hong Kong, currently under tight security. It is unclear how long he will stay in the city, which is not a party to the ICC. Let's get more. Buena Bernal joining us live from Metro Manila. Now, Buena, how are local authorities preparing in the event that the ICC issues this arrest warrant for Mr. Duterte?
Well, a lot of these discussions are still speculative given the absence of a copy of that official warrant coming from the International Criminal Court or ICC. But any move from local law enforcement, if that Rappler report quoting unnamed sources is to be believed that the warrant was issued over the weekend, will depend on the move or the next move of the former President Rodrigo Duterte. Now, he is in Hong Kong, again, reissuing that rhetoric in defense of the drug war, that he did it out of nationalism, out of love for the country, despite that bloody campaign claiming thousands of lives of suspected drug dealers, many of whom did not see their day in court. It is possible for the Philippine government to actually prepare for some mobilizations from the political supporters of Mr. Duterte. If that crowd in Hong Kong is any indication, he still commands a level of loyalty from his base supporters. Now, the Philippines is actually no longer a party to the ICC, the Rome Statute, which created that court because the Philippines withdrew from the Rome Statute in 2018, the effectivity of which came in 2019, a year later under Mr. Duterte. In fact, he's arguing that the ICC has no jurisdiction over the Philippines because of that withdrawal. ICC prosecutor Kan counter-arguing that the crimes prior to the withdrawal are still covered by the court. And to be clear, the Presidential Palace Malacanang actually says, despite the Philippines not being a member of the ICC, that it will still cooperate if the ICC courses the warrant through the Interpol.
That's very interesting. Now, we know Mr. Duterte to be a man who makes certain comments and then ends up backtracking on them. So when he says that he's ready for an ICC arrest warrant, is that perhaps a signal that he is willing to cooperate with the probe?
That's right. Mr. Duterte is known for issuing these pronouncements that shock and awe, that grab headlines, but later on he tends to be a person that you cannot take his word on. And it is expected that critics of Mr. Duterte will actually dare him to fly back to the Philippines, given this level of accommodation coming from the administration of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. following the fallout of these two political families, the Marcoses and the Dutertes, this level of accommodation saying the Philippines will comply with the warrant if it is coursed through the Interpol. And the expectation is critics will say, fly back to the Philippines and face the music. But former Justice Secretary Laila de Lima, one of the fiercest critics of Mr. Duterte, also saying that there's a possibility that from Hong Kong he could go to mainland China and possibly seek political asylum there. China, of course, Mr. Duterte having established warm ties with Beijing during his presidency. But all these are speculation at best, absent, again, a copy of that official warrant of the International Criminal Court. What we can be assured of, and what we shouldn't undermine, however, is the political acumen behind Mr. Duterte's team. It may be a coincidence that he is in Hong Kong right now, but it could also be an indication that there was prior information leaked to that team.
Many moving parts. We'll watch for how it plays out. Thank you so much. Buena Bernal, reporting live from Metro Manila.